Well, welcome to this week's edition of On the Other Line Canada. Broden, you're first this week. Good job. Good job. I think you beat all the other regulars to the show. Scott Connolly, good evening. Hope you're doing well and keeping safe. I am sad to say that unfortunately Adam and I have had to cancel our trip. So no hugs for Scott Connolly in Manitoba. Hopefully this will get back to normal soon. Greg Rice, good evening. Kit, hello Kit. Wayne, good to see you're on here. I'm sure you're just here to see the third wheel and show him some support because I don't give him enough love. We'll give him a little more love tonight. Luke, Mr. Lee Ryan. Hello, Lee. How are you, bud? Sorry we didn't get to meet up this week. That's on you. That's not on me. Andre, new to the show, I believe. Andre, if you are, welcome to the show. Mr. Zach Davis. I see Zach was out enjoying opening day. That was awesome. Well, this week we get a little bit of something different, and that is open water season is here, and with open water season comes fly fishing. For many of you that don't do it, you're going to enjoy the show, and for many of you that do it, you're going to enjoy the show even more. So, without any further, we'll bring in the one, the only, Mr. Joel Roy, Lazy R Streamers. Joel, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks.
You look all professional.
It's just for show, bro.
Okay, I wasn't going to call you out on it, but I know how you roll. I know it's not as professional, but thanks for being my hat twin this week, Hidden Waters LTD.
Support you.
Now, I have to ask you, because maybe it shows a difference in our age. Do you not believe in a curved brim hat?
Man, I just got a big head and they don't look right on me.
Dude, I have a larger head than you, so that's not an excuse.
Maybe it's just flatter in the front then.
just a little bit flatter in the front?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I didn't want to call you out on it before the show, so I figured I'd call you out live because, again, as everyone knows, I like to stir the pot a little bit, right?
God love you for it.
So we're going to talk a whole lot about fly fishing this week. I know you don't know a lot about the sport, but you like to spend a lot of time on the vise. What got you into tying flies?
Well, a lot of people probably know about my starter company, Wireworm King, and my love for fishing whites through the ice, and that kind of where it all stemmed. After a while, it was just too much, so I kind of just stepped back. But I needed new challenges from conventional fishing, so I did quite a bit of fishing out in the western rivers there, like the Clearwater area and whatnot, and I caught a lot of trout on wraps and whatnot. So after a while, I was just like, you know what, this isn't challenging. I'm not having as much fun as I usually do, and we already had the vise and stuff set up from Wireworm King. I decided to transition into new age streamers. Now I did fish streamers traditionally before, like swinging and whatnot. And I said, there's got to be something better than just swinging a fly. So I started looking into it, looking at some of the different better known tires in the world and see what they do for new age streamers. And basically, I just wanted to build a streamer that you could fish like a crankbait.
Right. Well, I'm going to bring Mitch in here because Mitch, I know I saw you posting some. I think he had some streamers. Let's see what he was showing off. The other man with a flat brim hat. What were you showing off there, Mitch? Welcome to the show, by the way.
I wasn't showing off. I was just trying to figure out how to get the angle so people could see it. But it's a heavy jig head on this. But see, I still don't got it. There we go.
There you go. Now you're getting the hang of it.
No, I'm going the wrong way still. Here.
That way. Go that way.
No. It just looks like a fluff ball, but it's way better than that, I'm telling you. This can be used. This is probably, you'd probably want like a 9 or 10 weight with this at least, because the jig head size on this, because it's heavy. But it's got that double joint in it with that other hook in the back. Just so when you're bringing it through, it's just going to give you that extra action. And that's from Joel. And I've caught Lakers on it just through the ice, like fly fishing the upper red for bulls. And I had to, but I lost one in a log jam. So,
sorry, did you say you're fishing them through the ice?
yeah, I used them in the ice too. It's works great for Lakers. Like I brought that to Cold Lake and just jigging it, just like better bucktail. You know, you got that double joint, so it's like a bucktail maximized.
You know what upsets me the most about this is I thought we were friends and you're giving me all the tips, and I'm finding out 4 or 5 months later why you outfished me.
Yeah, that's top secret lure that only me and Joel knew about.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Custom order, bro. You have to put in an order.
Well, this is the one Joel just tied for me, and I won't be like Mitch. I should actually have done this enough that I should be able to get a dead center. That one's not as heavy, but yeah, those articulations. I mean, they're pretty awesome. I don't know if I'd ice fish with that, but yeah, I got a whole box there from Joel, whole bunch of stuff to choose from.
Yeah, that's where that jig head comes in handy. Like Joel can do the jig head on there. So if you're jigging it or even spin casting that big thing, like it opens up so much more. 'Cause you either need a heavy fly rod, or even if you just want that style of hook, you can spin cast that all day.
Yeah. Now Lee's on here actually giving you the gears as well, but I'm gonna have to just ignore Lee's comment. I mean, the dude got third. So for you to really be complaining about what you didn't get to learn during the tournament, you can take your auger and just head on home.
Oh,
I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. Well, what are you tying up there, Joel?
Oh, well, you know, I'm tying up an articulated marabou deceiver. I have one that I did last night here. And I did it in colors that would imitate like a young burbot. So, you know, olive and black with a little ripple ice fiber for attractant and black. And these new slow roller tails, well, new to me. They've been out on the market for a while, but they're synthetic tails that have really great action, almost like a plastic twister tail. So lightweight, so it doesn't really weigh down the kick of the fly. And then we just have it weighted with a Flyman Fish Co. fish skulls.
So when you say lightweight, we're talking like probably a 4-weight would be a good application. Anything lighter than that, or no? Mitch shaking his head.
That I would probably toss with no less than a 7-weight.
Because of what you're targeting, obviously, right?
Well, you know, a lot of people have that misconception. I think it comes over from conventional tackle. The size and the weight of the fly rod is not necessarily what fish you're catching. It's actually what you're throwing for flies. So you don't want to try and you can catch a pike on a 6-weight fly rod.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. But what you're limited to what you can throw for flies. So an 8-weight, you know, can handle, you know, an 8-10 inch streamer, no problem. But trying to chuck that on a 6-weight, you're going to have some big issues. So
yep. Mitch is agreeing with you there. I'm always the first to admit when it comes to fly fishing, I'm lacking. This year will be different. I have all the gear.
I'm horrible at stuff like that because I will run my 3-weight with a fairly good sized streamer on it. People think I'm crazy half the time, but I just like ultralight fishing. It's weird. Like I'll run a little higher tippet if I'm targeting something bigger, but I just like that rod bend, and if I'm in the boat, I'm gonna chase him with the boat, etc. to get that fish in as fast as he can. But I just like that extra tug, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. You can definitely do that. You can actually build a fly with big profile that's very light as well. You just have to watch that back cast because that's where you're going to get the most tension on your rod is when that breaks the surface tension of the water. So if you're not savvy in what you're doing. Like Mitch probably, every time he does a back cast, he's probably gambling if that rod's going to snap or not on a big fly. But, a lot of people put in an order with me and I ask them, what are you running for a setup? And so the last thing I want them to do is to snap their rod out on a trip, especially if they're going on a special trip they want some special flies for me for. So that's super important to remember the dynamics of it. Too big a fly, too heavy a fly can mean some bigger issues. And I mean, like if you chuck a heavy fly on not the right gear, you're going to be gassed, halfway through your day. If you have the right setup, you can flick big flies all day long with ease. So,
yeah. And if that one comes back when you're doing your cast back and hooks up on that tip, it's taking it with it.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Well, Mitch has a lot of gas in the tank during trip, so I mean that kid can pretty much go all day nonstop. I don't think there's much you can't do, Mitch. I've seen you fish.
Yeah, no, I like my 3-weight. I have a problem, I guess, but
we all have problems, buddy. We all have problems.
You watch the show I did with Jim this year on the Ram. We're catching 22-inch cutties, and I'm still on my silly 3-weight, but.
I didn't want to say anything, but I did notice that you were doing that, but I figured that was just to look legendary as you always do. So
you just see that extra oomph when I'm launching it.
The only problem I struggled with that, and Joel, I don't know how you're packing your gear and stuff around, but Mitch has got that belly bag, and it's really tough to tell if he's 8 months along or just packing that much gear. It's deceiving. How does that thing not get in your way?
I think, it's up to the individual angler, like a preference, like where you want gear, you want it accessible. I downsized from a full backpack from last year to a nice sling pack for this year. Just basically what you're comfortable with. So I know a lot of guys that fish streamers religiously. They have line baskets too. So that their line doesn't get tangled up with their feet or in the boat or get pulled downstream if they're wading a river. So it's basically up to the angler itself what they want. So
it's a matter of comfort, I guess, right? And depending on what you're fishing for. I mean, I know for my own gear, I already have everything split up based on what we're going to target, so it's probably very similar.
100%, yeah. I mean, being a minimalist, I think is probably better in the long run, even for fly selection. Like just take what is going to be effective and talk to your guides. Like Mitch could probably agree with that. Talk to your local guides and get a feel for what you should be chucking in unfamiliar waters, and then just streamline it. Get 2 or 3 patterns and 2 or 3 colors, and then get them in 2 or 3 sizes. And, that'll streamline to what you're chucking. And probably increase your success rate. So,
right, Greg Rice is saying fanny pack.
He can rock whatever he wants.
Leather. It has to be leather.
That's weird. I pictured Greg with a neon.
Well, if he's going for a sturgeon, all he needs is weight and his snail hooks pretty much, and he can just have it all there. Then maybe he could get a wig and some pit vipers or something and rock a mullet and just rip up the river.
Well, I love him. We both know that he can't grow a mullet. So I'm just thinking like a neon green fanny pack to fit the boat would be better than leather. But
then he's going to need some shorts like the old 70 retros then to go with that.
Yeah. But leather or pleather? Because, I mean, now we're kind of getting in the pleather generation, right?
Well, if you get leather wet.
Yeah. Well, maybe we could make it like a waterproof fanny. I don't know. He's going to have to talk to some people and patent pending this stuff. So
he said he's working on growing a skullet. So I guess we'll see how that works out for him.
He better grow a mustache with that too. But
now you brought them up and I don't understand it. Obviously, I'm not going to judge. What is it? Have you worn the pit vipers before? Is it just a fad, or are they way better than they look? I'm torn.
No, I don't rock. I don't swing that way, I guess you could say. Everybody knows I rock a Amphibia eyewear, floating sunglasses. Great company out of the States. Like, I have lost them, but it was due because I was doing something on the boat and kicked them off the side, and they will float on top of the water. And then you just scoop them up with the net. But other than that, they hug to your face good. Look, they're perfect polarization. You can get subscription in them. I love them. But for pit vipers, yeah. No, they're not my style, I guess.
Well, many things aren't my style. I just know that they won't be my style for sure. Greg's saying his daughter wears them, so we know she can outfish him. So maybe it's like changing your hat.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, maybe there's something to it. Joel, how many hours a week are you spending? Like right now, you're probably pretty busy. Are you spending a lot of time? I mean, obviously, this isn't your full-time job.
Just too many hours. I just don't think people understand how much work goes into this. And, and the worst thing about it is the value that goes with it. Like, everybody wants a cheap fly. And I think, the Kenyan fly tire market is killing it. The average go to Cabela's or Bass Pro or whatever, and you see a $10 pike fly, and those things have its place. But when you're talking to like a dedicated custom fly shop, there's like this tie would probably average me about, 45 minutes, but there's some that I, 3-4 hours. And you really don't get paid for your time on the vise. You just try and be as fair as you can for those who are looking for something special in the water, and just hope it puts more fish in the net for them. So,
right, and you're exactly right. It does come down to the quality more than anything, right? I mean, you can get flies pretty much anywhere you want for whatever price that you're willing to pay, but there is something to be said about quality of product versus the value of it, right? I mean, obviously with the right application, your stuff isn't going to be, a one trip and done or that kind of situation. But
yeah, I try and build them as best as I can. And, if anything happens too, like I guarantee my flies, if you cast it 3 times and it comes undone, I'll replace it. Like I stand behind that, and I've only ever had to do that once, and it was with a new material that I wasn't familiar with. That was for a special request, and I had no problems, fixing that client up again with on me. So
yeah. I mean, I really wish people would get to the point that they would understand the value and the time that goes into this stuff. We were talking earlier even about the artistic effect. Do you get a lot of people that are very specific about how they want it, or do you find people are more likely to say, this is what I'm targeting, this is what I'm looking for, and let you be a little more creative from your end?
For the most part, if I can speak generally, people are very open to suggestions. Most of the time, people are buying flies from it. They don't tie flies themselves. They don't understand the dynamics, how it builds, how it fishes, what they want the fly to do. And then there's guys who know exactly what they want. They've been doing it a long time. They send me pictures and specific names of already pre-established flies and patterns. And, those guys are fine. They're cut and dry. They tell me what colors, boom, boom, out the door. Other people, they might not be 100% on what they want. Like they get a vision in their head. This is what I want a fly to do. This is how I want it built. And then, there's always like that conflict. Well, you're not going to have your cake and eat it too here. This is what I can do for you. Just tell me what you want the fly to do, what you want it to imitate, and what your setup is. I'm going to come up with a few suggestions. If you're not happy with that, highly recommend. I'll recommend somebody else. But for the most part, everybody's pretty open, and when they get their flies in the mail, I haven't had one complaint yet. So
Yeah, well, I mean, you've sent me lots of stuff, and although I haven't used it, I still complain to you because that's just how I am, right? So
Somebody's got to, Karen. Somebody's got to.
Yeah, I mean, Karen of the fishing community. Maybe that's we're going back to talking about the whole artistic and value. I mean, Bobby's even agreeing. We know Bobby got into making rods and stuff, and when it comes to custom stuff, it's he puts it perfectly. It's not the same price as Canadian Tire. Yeah. Right?
No.
If you're on a Canadian Tire budget, that's great. There's nothing wrong with it. I mean, people think that we probably just do a lot of custom stuff. We all have our Canadian Tire setups. I mean, I've got one back there that just won't die. There's nothing wrong with that stuff. But if you're wanting to get into custom stuff or specialized stuff, then this is where you go, right?
Yeah, 100%. And basically what I do is, if people think that I'm making out like a bandit to the bank with what I do here is reality check. Basically, I cover my cost of material and I donate my time.
Yep.
And that's the reality of it. So,
yeah.
I think that many of us that get into trying to do stuff for the passion of the sport realize that it is not a get rich. I've been through it with tackle. Mitch being a guide, I mean, the dude's loaded with cash. I mean, semi-retired, right, Mitch? I mean, it's all profit.
Hey, every night I roll in nickels.
Yeah. What will you do when they get rid of the nickel? Then you're going to have problems.
They hurt in my bed. I roll over. Erin gets mad because I shoved too many nickels to her side, but
yeah.
Just the
life. It's cold in the winter. It's a rough life, man.
Yeah. And nobody takes them either. Who's going to roll all those?
Yeah. Yeah, even Greg's saying you get what you pay for, right? So that's really what it boils down to. So Clayton's asking you to time a new phone. I don't know if you could.
Ask him if he wants tied up a new net too.
Yeah, so does Clayton have Todd syndrome? Because I'll tell you what, I have some buddies that have gained some phenomenal gear from the fact that I can't pick up after myself.
Yeah, no, me and Adam were, after we hit up that one lake, we got our taggers and bows. Then to finish off the Triple Crown on Sunday in the morning there, we hit up another stream on the way home, and lo and behold, I found this net. And then I bring it over to Adam, like, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
Maybe you should hold on to that. You don't got a net. So I went back to the hole and threw some casts, but you could tell there's fresh tracks all over that area. So
I heard Clayton's a little bit heavy-footed like I am. Yeah, it's either a grizzly bear or it's one of us.
Well, yeah, we could see there's someone fresh in there, but then all of a sudden I was like, yeah, fish on. Like a nice 17-inch brown. Around there somewhere in that area, 16 to 18.
Yeah.
And then he used that net. Then a little later, Clayton's like, hey, in that picture, that's my net. I was like, oh, well then.
I actually have a funny story. Joel, what is the craziest or most expensive, or how do I put it? What's one thing you've lost or forgotten behind that you can think of? Anything, or are you just perfect?
I'm not perfect, but I will tell you right now, when I moved up here from Red Deer, I was staying with a good buddy of mine until I found a place. And I brought up my ice fishing gear. So an Aquaview 720 is somewhere in oblivion right now. So yeah,
that hurts.
Yeah, so I had to buy a new micro unit from the Real Doctor there.
From Trevor,
yeah. So Trevor was nice to me, hooked me up with a smoking deal. But yeah, I'm still looking for that thing. I don't know where it is.
Mitch has probably heard my story. I had a lanyard for fishing the bow. It had my pliers, my snips, probably $100 worth of stuff on it. And I remember my friend Melissa had given me an Oakley lanyard, which I'd swapped out. Hit the bow one day, realized a couple days later I had left it behind. It was gone. It cost me $100 and some to replace everything that I had on there. Fast forward about 8 months later, Mortensen and I went to Saskatchewan, and on the last day of fishing, we're driving back, and he's driving, and he's like, "Oh, I forgot to take off my lanyard," and he takes it off and puts it on the dash, and I'm sitting there looking, and I'm like, "It has an Oakley lanyard," and I'm like, "Mort, where did you find that?" He's like, "Funniest story." He says, "Best find I ever made on the bow. Some idiot left his lanyard behind." He's like, "The scissors on here are awesome, man. It's the best thing I ever found." I said, "You know what's funny?" I said, "About 6 months ago, I lost my lanyard, my Oakley lanyard with all my gear on it, and there it was. Mort found it." Now, what should I have done? Should I have taken it back, or is it finders keepers?
Well, it depends on the person that found it, kind of in the end.
Okay.
It's
Finders
a pirate
keepers.
kind of thing.
Yeah, I didn't kick up a
Pirate
fuss.
treasure, right? It's pirate
What's that?
treasure. It's pirate treasure. Like, you find it, if someone calls it out, yeah, you give it back if it's called out. But
Yeah, I would agree.
if
Mortensen
it's something
kept-
like super expensive, like rods and stuff, yeah, post it up somewhere, reels and everything. But if it's just like smaller stuff, I don't know. Sometimes I think it's finders keepers.
It's the cost of doing business. And if you're in the business of not paying attention to your gear, I mean, I've lost my fly rod. I've gone back. It was still there. But yeah, seeing that, I just thought it was funny that, you know, of anyone to find it, it would be Mort, right?
Yeah. Yeah, no, if you see a post saying someone lost it, give it back and stuff. But I don't know, a net sometimes just on the side of the thing, it's kind of hard to track down the person. Or even, if it's a rod and stuff, try to get it back. If it's a case of flies that it's full, like, that's a lot of money. And flies. Like,
Oh, yeah.
Well, it adds up quick, right?
yeah, a box of flies. Some of those, nets could be like $40.
Yeah.
I don't know.
What are you wrapping around there, Joel?
UV
something
polar
shiny.
chenille. UV polar chenille, man. It's like it's really good stuff to put a little bit of attractant in. Plus UV materials. Yeah, man, it's like the future is here. This stuff is awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people think you're probably being rude, but you're just doing your job. And I think the great thing with this, and Mitch, you'll probably agree, is it gives people an appreciation of what's going into making a fly.
Yeah, and how much time that gets put in.
Yeah, I get in when I can, right? Like I work a full-time job, and then, you know, I do like to get out and do a little fishing when I can. It's not as often as it used to be, but yeah. So
see, Cliff actually disagrees with you guys, and I agree with Cliff. Cliff says that he should have just gave it back. You're right, Cliff. I'm gonna tell Mortensen you said that, and I'll have him come have a chat with you. Anyone that doesn't know Cliff, check out the BC Fishing Podcast. I believe you guys are tomorrow night, right, Cliff? Or they're going every couple of weeks. So if you guys haven't checked them out, you should pop over there.
Well, if you guys are sitting side by side, I think you should give it back. Like, if you call them out, like, right beside you,
well,
I think that's not finders keepers. That's, hey, bro, that's my stuff.
But it's a two-part issue. First of all, we're in Saskatchewan in his vehicle. He drove out there. We stayed with his parents. Plus, it's more than, it's more than the 10-second rule. It's like 6 months later. Like, I've replaced it. I'm over it.
But that's okay. It's still your stuff. Like, if my friend was like, hey, that's mine, I'd be like, oh, sorry, man. I did not know.
I'll give you half back.
Maybe that's the problem. You assume that Mortensen and I are friends. We're not.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like,
Mort's too cool for friends. He just has everyone in the fishing community trying to prove that he's their father.
yeah, well, that's some Star Wars stuff going on there. I don't know, man. But no, like, if someone's like, that's my stuff, like, as soon as Clayton's like, hey, that's my net, I'm like, Yeah, we found it, and he told exactly where it was, and we're like, yeah, it's totally your net, man. So we'll meet up this week, or on the weekend we might go fishing together. So
Yeah, I'm determined to get out and fish with Clayton, but I can't do it until after the charity fish on, because then everyone will think it's rigged, and we can't have that, right?
oh, maybe
Is
I
that why
should.
you guys are fishing? Because you're an official judge, and
No, well, I could just get buddies to drop off the net too that has the net.
well, that
So
could work.
that'll be easier on me, anyways, because we'll probably just hit up the lake, hit some walleye spots, and it's open around here in Central Alberta. So
Yeah,
kind of gotta lock in some spots for the year. Then we know where we gotta hit for the spring. Then as spring turns into summer, all those walleye are gonna relocate to different areas. So, but right
yeah,
now we just gotta focus on those spring areas so I can take the clients to those locations.
yeah. Brody Hughes is telling you, Joel, that you better have days off for grayling next month.
Oh,
He's coming up to
maybe.
Fox Vegas, he says.
Oh, maybe. We'll see.
You
We'll
can-
see. I just did an order recently for Brody, so he decided to join the dark side of streamers this year. So
Yeah, I think he was saying on here he had to. He hasn't been able to use him yet. He had to go back to work.
it's almost like you, Todd, not using those weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah, but it's more from a useless standpoint, not a work standpoint.
Oh, I see. That does make a difference.
What when we're talking gear and stuff like that, are you a bit of a brand snob when it comes down to rods and reels? What do you prefer fishing with?
I this is one thing that I like to talk about actually is how much easier it is to get into fly fishing nowadays than what it was, even 15, 20 years ago. There's so many different new rod manufacturers and reel manufacturers out there, and the technology has come like a ton further than what it is. And I think basically there's just so many decent beginner setups out there now on the market than what it used to be. I think 20 years ago when I first picked up a fly rod, it was like, you went and you picked up a Canadian Tire Shakespeare, $50 rod reel combo and put line on it, or you went and you bought Sage. There wasn't all these companies that were doing it. There were a select few, and then now there's a ton more companies out there, and they're making it more easier, more accessible for the average angler to pick it up and try it. So to be a snob, yeah, I have my preferences, but I'm not against using something that's effective. I don't, for my Stillwater fly rod, I have a $250 TFO bug launcher kit, and it's amazing. It casts wicked. It's got good line on it. It comes ready to fish, lifetime warranty. You can't beat it. So to say, like I've got a Sage whatever that's $1,200 rod and a $3,000 reel or something, it's unnecessary. But
Yep.
one thing I will say that I think line is super important versus make a rod and reel. Line it really helps you do what you got to do, especially in streamers. I think like a shooting sink tip is probably where you need to live, unless you're doing top water. But getting a really good quality line, I think, is super important. Like SA's really come up to play. They've got some really good lines. Airflow is my favorite. Streamer Max.
Yep.
Rio is always a classic, and a few others. I think that is the most important component to any fly setup, in my personal opinion. So
Right. Broden was just asking a question. Broden, we're going to get to your question here in a couple minutes, but Cliff was asking, what's your preferable fly reel?
Man, I bought a forged Royale last year. And I can tell you right now, for the price point, the craftsmanship, and I hope they're listening, they are one of the best, if not the best reel I have fished with. It was so good that I bought an Invictus for my 3-weight that I picked up the tail end of last season.
What kind of price range are we talking, if you don't mind me asking, Joel?
I think I got mine from the good people of West River Fly Shop. The Royale, I think I paid between $250 and $300, and for a high quality fly reel, that's pretty reasonable. So comparable to like Islander and whatnot in comparison to quality, that price point is pretty nice.
Yeah,
I'm really happy you didn't say the Fluger Supreme. That's all I'm gonna say. It was not worth $120 whatsoever. So
it's not. You wouldn't recommend?
I would not recommend. Anytime you have to buy a piece of equipment that you have to use hot glue guns to keep components in place, probably not going to be your selection. I switched it up. I went to the Bat and Kill, the Orvis. Love it. Awesome setup.
Yeah, Orvis is a solid company for sure, man. Yeah.
Mitch, what are you running other than your 1-weight rod?
I wish I had a 1-weight rod. Actually, I want a 0 right away, but that's for another tale. I'm running a Pissy Fun on some. I got Hardy. I got Orvis. I got a bunch all over. The new Pissy Funs are pretty nice. Like the higher quality ones, you pay for it, right?
Yep.
And they're just going to be better. Like even like Joel said, head down to Troy's place there in Red Deer, and he's got a ton of reels there. Actually, my buddy Adam watched the dogs for us when we were in the Yukon a couple years ago, so I picked him up a reel from there too. And Troy knows his stuff down there, and he takes care of you. Like he's a good guy, and he knows he'll hook you up like nobody else.
Yeah. Yeah, I got my Orvis from Fly Tails. I mean, I love the service. Those guys are super knowledgeable down there.
Yeah, really good job too.
It was the first place I've ever been to where they didn't laugh me out of the store when I told them I needed a size 16 wading boot. Actually, funny thing about them, I inquired about it, and they phoned me the next day and said, "Listen, we brought them in. They're already here for you." So, you talk about all these awesome places with great service, right? I think we all have our favorite and our go-to, but that's just a couple of where we like to shop anyway. So Cliff Cliff, I don't know the answer to this. I'm not familiar. He's asking no Able reels.
Able reels is good. I haven't personally used one, but I have lots of friends in the community that swear by them, but
my buddy,
they're quite expensive.
When my buddy Adam watched the house for him, I got him one of them for just watching the dogs and stuff. He uses them for steelhead and stuff when we go up to Kitimat and whatnot. So they're on a sick reel.
Greg said he just ordered a Lamson. He's got a new rod from Bobby. So he ordered a Lamson to go on that. Bobby's saying that he's got Able reels from the 90s, and the price is up there for sure.
Yeah.
But again, I'm not familiar with them, so that's why I have the two pros here of fly fishing, right?
No pro.
Where are they?
Right now, I'm trying to figure out either get Aaron a new rod from Bobby or myself a new rod. But Aaron doesn't have a fly rod, but I can't teach her either because we don't work at teaching each other stuff. So,
well, it's funny you bring this up. So I'm horrible at secrets. About a month ago, I ordered a really nice setup from Bobby for Marcy, and I specifically told him, I said, don't say anything. Like this thing's top secret, man. I'll think of something. Yeah, I told her last week.
Cat's in the bag.
Can't keep secrets, man. Can't keep secrets.
Yeah, I just gotta figure out if Aaron wants to pursue fly fishing or if I get a new fly rod. That's what it comes down to.
Well, both you guys can answer this. What is the best way to approach introducing someone to fly fishing? Obviously not the forced approach, but is it something you find, like Mitch, even in the past when you've had clients and stuff that are maybe new to it, it can be an intimidating sport, right? What's the best way to help someone get into it?
The best way I tell people is get like a ice fishing rod that's probably, I don't know, 4 feet long, 3 foot long. Then you get a bunch of fuzz. It's like a fuzz long, like probably like 20 feet, just like about this long. It's a line, and you can practice with it because it's going to be slow, just like it, and that's what you can practice with. If not, you can go buy everything, and then you can just do it in your backyard. Don't worry about putting tippet on or anything. There's so many YouTube videos how to approach it that you really don't need to visit anybody like for your first steps. But once you think that you want to pursue it harder, then you can contact someone, right, and be like, hey, I like this. This seems enjoyable.
I love your tip, and I wish I have had you tell me that sooner, because I have 3 or 4 4-foot ice fishing rods out in the garage. And that would probably even be a good spring tune-up, knock the dust off kind of practice too, I guess, right?
Yeah, it's just like a chunk of yarn, maybe 1/2 inch, 3/8, and just get some of that like super light, fluffy, and you can just practice because it's going to give you that flow and your back casts and everything, and it's just going to give you a step up. Then you can go purchase your rod. Don't worry about tip up or anything, and just do it in your backyard and just practice. And it's just 10 and 2. You don't want to really whip your arm too much unless you're using a 3-weight with a big ass streamer.
Does it make the technique easier if we watch a river runs through it in the background?
Oh yeah. Oh
the
yeah.
wife might like it better because Brad Pitt's there, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm the only good Brad Pitt movie I ever saw is where he gets run over, so I couldn't really tell you too much more about the guy. Sorry if you're watching, Brad. We know you're not, but
you didn't like Snatch?
Well, see, now you're gonna make me try to go back, right?
7.
I mean, that's all right.
Snatch is one of the best films for him.
Man, please tell me the show is over. Nope, we still got time left here.
Oh my god.
Hey man, I don't call you the third wheel anymore. Why are you trying to ruin my flow?
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Joel, you're still on the same fly, right? Like we've been at this for 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And how close to done are you?
We're getting there. You know, I just have to. I'm whip finishing right now, and then putting the mask on this and some eyes, and probably like 10 minutes, and we're done. 15.
Like a 3M mask, like COVID style, or what are you classifying as a mask if we don't know what it is?
This is
the sculpin
fish skull bait fish head from Flyman Fishing Co. And they add a little bit of weight and unique presentation. They come with the stick-on eyes.
Yeah.
But I swapped them out for like different color for pop. So
looks like we sparked interest on the Brad Pitt thing because Tony's asking, what about Thelma and Louise? Well, This is a family show that there was one sole purpose for his role in that show, and enough said.
Brad Pitt's best movie is
7.
No,
7.
Snatch.
He was
Snatch.
really good in that one.
Snatch. You can't take him away from Snatch. Snatch is awesome.
I mean, now we're getting into Guy Ritchie, right? So, I mean, lock, stock.
Guy Ritchie is awesome.
If I can veer it off the Brad Pitt train, Lock, Stock is one of my favorite movies of all time.
Guy Ritchie is a great director.
Yeah,
he
is.
He probably fly fishes as well.
I would imagine he probably does. Canadian Tire rod, though.
Yeah. And he probably does like this.
Yeah.
The sidearm.
Yep.
Oh, the gangster lean.
Scott Stewart has a
stump fishing. That's the stump under roll.
He's like this. The dude on the meme just rotating the wrist. I'm way too good at that. I'm going to stop doing that.
I don't know what you've been doing, but I don't know. You should stop watching Guy Ritchie films.
We'll just add that into the show blooper reel. Mitch, Broden was asking earlier, and we're going to talk about it quick because we got about 10 minutes left in the show. Talking about the charity fish on, which starts May 24th. We have all of our competitors lined up. We have almost all the species. Actually, we have all the species decided for the start of the fish on. Broden was asking where he can get that rod or what kind of rod and reel that was that we're giving away for the week 2 winner for biggest walleye.
Well, the rod comes out of the States, FX Customs, so you're going to have to order it from there. Then the Pissy Fun reel is from China, but solid reel. Like, they've been around forever, and more people are picking it up. Like, even people I know, like big names here in Alberta. So,
yep,
it's quality. Like, I know these rods are, like, if you go with this Dream Angler series, was still around 140 American, but if you go into the titanium, they're around 3.5 to 4 now.
Mm-hmm. Which isn't really that bad. I mean, I know everyone kind of has their own budget and so on and so forth, but depending on what you're trying to get out of it, right?
It's still going to be a $200 rod at your base level, pretty much.
Yeah, Brody was saying he got into the Piscifun Akoa, is it? For like $65, which is
for the fly reel.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I enjoy that reel, and they're opening it up to a bunch of different weights this year.
Right.
And I know they have the new series, like they just redid it this year, so I haven't got it yet. It's supposed to be on its way.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'll get a good test on it and be able to tell you how the new reel performs.
Chelsea's got a good question for you guys here. And I mean, Mitch, your idea with the shorter rod or with the wool, which is a phenomenal idea for one. Chelsea's asking, is it a challenge to transition from spin casting to fly fishing? Because fly fishing is very intimidating.
It is not. Like, it's timing more than anything and feeling the preloads. Like, if you went to that yarn, like, there is companies that sell the rods with the yarn already set up, so you can learn, like, you can sit in your basement and do it as you're watching TV, and you're just feeling the preloads. That yarn's a little heavy, so it's going to come back, and you're going to feel that rod tip bend a bit, then you're just going to go forward, right?
Right.
And once you kind of feel that, you're going to get the feel for your fly rod. It's a practice mechanism that I learned as a kid, and I learned in the backyard as a kid, and my dad taught me as well. So
I literally want to go out and try that. So I just might. It might help me a little bit.
Well, totally Google it, and there is kits that are already set up with a smaller rod and that yarn, and you just buy them as a kit.
Yeah, great idea. Or Toys R Us, it sounds like maybe.
Yeah, you just got to build it.
Yeah. All right, well, back to the fish on with us starting on the May 24th. We got our week 1 sponsor, which is Dynamite Baits. So we got some sturgeon rigs. Dwayne was awesome. I saw Dwayne a little while ago, and he actually gave me a bunch of stuff for the 10 competitors as a thank you for joining. So we got some sturgeon rigs to go out to the competitors. We got some burb bombs. Those things are awesome. A lot of people slay a lot of fish on that. We got some tubes. We got some different hooks. I got a whole bag of goodies. None for the judges. You guys are already getting your water bottles.
Oh,
Was that excitement?
yeah, I love my water bottle.
Yeah, the water bottle that's still in the garage. Ask Yanitsky. It took almost a month for him to get it from me, so I'm sorry about that, bud. I know he has it now, so
That's okay. I'm really thirsty and no problem.
I mean, no worries. Here, let me drink for you. The other thing is so we've got week 1, our sponsor Dynamite Plastics. Week 2, the top 5, we've got the Hidden Waters LTD hats there. The week 2 winner for largest walleye gets that FX custom rod and Piscifun reel. Week 3, we've got Perch Slayers as our sponsor. Greg, I know you're there. Greg, thank you for that. Obviously, the champion of the fish off will be $1,000 for charity of their choice, a custom fish whip jersey. And we've also got our newest show sponsor, which Joel, thanks for joining the team for a show sponsor. Lazy R Streamers is going to sponsor the Best in Show Award, where Joel will pick his favorite competitor for the charity fish on. And Joel, what are you going to give the winner of that award?
Well, it's a versatile $100 coupon for me, my company, whatever you want. If you're a fly guy, anything that you want that I tie, I'll whip up for you for $100 value. If you're not a fly guy, fly gal, I can tie you up what Mitch is showing you here, some custom jig heads, bucktails, anything like that. Wire worms, you want anything for ice fishing too, we can do that for you. Or if you do a bit of both, I can do a bit of both, but $100 worth is good for me, and we'll work together on getting you a sweet package.
That's awesome, Joel. I really appreciate it, and just giving back for everything we're doing. I can't say enough. So, Best in Show, we're gonna let you be the judge of that. No pressure.
It'd be my pleasure. Thanks, man.
No pressure.
Everybody better dress pretty fancy, and watch their steps, right?
Yeah, I mean, maybe Joel will have to determine what he considers best in show, right? Is it?
I'll come up with some pretty good criteria here the next couple days.
If we have to, we could do like an agility challenge where you gotta jump logs and drop nets and put phones in water.
Yeah.
TikTok challenge.
Usually Best in Show is the fanciest.
Yeah, well, I don't know about fancy.
I don't know how fancy they get, but
Scott's saying judging is easy. He just throws a dart.
yeah.
And Bobby said, "Remember who's building your rod, Joel." Seems to be a lot of inside track here. I can tell you right now, this is a charity competition. We thank our sponsors, but if you're looking to cheat or otherwise, there's other organizations out there that host such opportunities where you can participate over there. Bang, bang.
Shots fired.
We also had another competition on the page, and believe it or not, we only had 8 people post, which is okay. The winner of that competition, which is also going to be a prize pack with Joel, $50, and he'll reach out to you. I've already messaged him. Sam Shank posted his picture of his opening day sturgeon at 57 inches, had 17 likes on there. So, Sam, I sent you a message. If you're watching the show, I added you on Facebook. I'll put you in touch with Joel, and he can help get a package design there for you as well.
That's a big sturgeon. That's one of the bigger ones I've seen for opener.
Yeah, that's a good.
It's a tank, man.
I thought I saw a 58, but the 57 on the first day. Yeah.
I don't think Adam's on here, but I think his PB's at like 60. Greg is here, and I know he's worried Adam's not here, but I think Greg's PB is like 38 or something like that. I mean, a 57-inch sturgeon, what is that, 5 or 6 pounds, you guys think?
Yeah.
7 3/4.
It's a tank. Once you get over 50, that's That's a lifetime sturgeon for a lake sturgeon. Like, you get over 50, that's a great fish. Like,
Yeah. Well, Marcy and I are actually heading down to fish with Adam on the long weekend. I've never caught a sturgeon out here. Neither has Marcy, so we're gonna knock those off the list. I mean, I've done them in BC, but in my mind, it counts, obviously, but it doesn't count like that. So, personal best, no, but first experience, absolutely.
well, it's a personal best for the species.
Exactly.
Lake sturgeon, totally different than white sturgeon.
Do you think they taste like chicken?
No, I don't think they taste good at all.
I don't think so either. Joel, would you if you could?
Nah, maybe try the caviar, but that's about it.
just shaking his head. We're probably upsetting people right now because they're like, "Why are you talking about this? This is."
It sounds like you gotta go to Russia.
Yeah, no, I'm good, thanks. I'm not. Feels too patriotic, almost, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's like eating a stone cat.
How do you even eat something that small?
Oh, mine aren't that small.
All right. Well, Joel, thanks again for visiting the show this week. What's the best way for everyone to reach out to you and if they want more info on the products that you carry or how to tie some stuff up for them?
You just find me on Facebook at Lazy R Streamers, and I also have Instagram as well. So feel free to follow me there. Most of my ties, if you want stuff that's concentrated, not watered down, like I do on my Facebook page, just head on over to the Instagram page and check out my ties and some of my adventures. And yeah, add me up if you like. I've got a YouTube channel gonna launch. I was supposed to launch this weekend, but it's got pushed back a little bit. But there'll be some tutorials and stuff coming out, and I already have the page set up. But yeah, you can find me there at Lazy R Streamers as well. So,
well, that's awesome. Keep us updated, and when that's ready to go, let's get you promoted out there for launch and stuff. And I'm really interested to see what you're going to come up with for best in show. Sort of just put you on the spot.
Oh, it'll be good. I'm going to have to sleep on that though.
You've got time. Put it that way. You've got 8 weeks probably. So no pressure. No pressure.
I want to see some fancy costumes and some fancy casting.
We could probably incorporate some of that.
What else is best in show? You need something fancy and you need some fancy angling.
I want to do the $20 thrift store challenge. Have you guys seen that?
Yeah.
It's where you go into the thrift store with your spouse and she spends 20 on you and you spend 20 on her and then you have to wear what each other bought each other.
Yeah, see, you're on that TikTok stuff. I thought you were talking about maybe she'd buy your angling gear from there. She'd buy your angling gear, then you have to buy her outfit from there.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, let's switch it around then. She buys the angling gear. Well, no, it's the same thing.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Maybe Marcy and I will challenge Aaron and yourself in this thrift shop challenge and see who comes up with the most creative outfit.
Well, the girls got to pick the outfits and we pick the hooks.
That's valid. We'll talk more about that. Anyways, Joel, no pressure, as you can see.
I will come with some unbiased ideas for sure.
Yeah, I know. I'm getting the gears for the whole TikTok thing. I blame it on my chick, man. She got me hooked on it. I can't help it.
Oh.
I'm dodging bullets. She comes in at the end of the show.
You're coming in quick.
Yeah. All right,
as
Mitch.
Long as you stay on here, she can't abuse you that bad.
She's probably watching already. I'm waiting for the comments. Mitch, where can everyone reach you at?
Alberta Fishing Trips on Facebook, Northwest Mitch on Instagram.
Awesome. Well, everyone knows where to get me is on here on Instagram. We have On the Other Line Canada. Facebook on the Other Line Canada, or my Instagram, personal Instagram is @livinforfishing. So thanks everyone for joining us this week. Joel, thanks for being on the show. Next week, all of the competitors, one way or another, Greg said he's nervous. We're going to try to have an amalgamation of as many competitors as we can for the show next week in preparation for the first annual Charity Fish On. Thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next week.
Have a great show.
Great show.
Yeah, it's going to be an awesome show. I can't wait. It's going to be just intense.
Intense.